Coming up on Mountain News at 6, the 2024 SOAR Summit comes to a close in downtown Pikeville. We'll have a live recap. And following a fire at a southern Kentucky homeless camp, we'll take a look at how city leaders are addressing a bigger issue at hand.
And sun, and more sun. That is the forecast short term, but there are rain chances somewhere in the forecast, and I'll plot that out in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The 2024 Shaping Our Appalachian Region Summit closed out its final day with funding announcements and more at the University of Pikeville. WYMT's Buddy Forbes is at UPike sharing what we learned on the last day, and he joins us now live. Buddy.
Yes, Steve, it is a little bit quieter on campus now that the summit is over. But even though the bluegrass music and those arena exhibits are packed up, it's the investments that were left behind that attendees are still talking about. The final day of the 2024 SOAR Summit came with a lot of conversations and a lot of checks.
So a significant commitment and investment to our Eastern Kentucky region. It deserves the very best, and that's what we're bringing.
After discussing the recent funding that provided a push to the Mountain Parkway expansion and a more than $40 million recompete grant for SOAR, Governor Andy Beshear and Congressman Hal Rogers announced more than $30 million in abandoned mine land economic revitalization, or AMLR funding, for Eastern Kentucky communities.
Getting everybody together to share best practices, to recognize that we're all on the same team, helps us move forward together. We are seeing more regional cooperation in this region and in other parts of Kentucky than I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Saying the programs and partnerships are what help Kentucky thrive, like the partnership announced by the University of Kentucky during the summit, creating a network called the Advancing Kentucky Together Network to invest in community support from health to the workforce.
We're even more pleased that our first partner in this is Pikeville Medical Center. We've had a good working relationship. We're going to strengthen it. We can learn from one another, and our ultimate goal is to advance the health of all Kentuckians.
Beshear says the summit, which showcases the work and workers that benefit from the announcements made, was the best place to discuss the development.
It's exciting. I think we've come a long way from 10 years ago, but we've got a long way to continue to go, and it shouldn't take us another 10 years to get there.
Hoping to soar toward a brighter Appalachia. Now, the stage is broken down and most of the people who are here are long gone, but they say that it's the days to come that are most exciting as they try to keep that energy that they felt surrounded by Appalachian advocates. In Pikeville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Buddy, thank you very much. You can see more about the new network created by UK and all the projects funded by those AMLR grants on our website. One of the featured speakers at the SOAR Summit today was Appalachian Regional Commission Federal Co-Chair Gail Manchin. This was her third summit, and the wife of West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin says it's refreshing to see the bipartisanship.
We are a great model for what can happen when people forget about D's and R's and just think about what needs to be done.
Manchin also talked about the recent catastrophic flooding in parts of Appalachia and several other topics. She is my guest on Issues and Answers Monday night at 7 here on WYMT. Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College has been awarded grant money from the Appalachian Regional Commission. The funding, worth more than $1.6 million, will be establishing 2 training programs to help students develop work skills and earn certifications. Administrators with SKCTC say they will establish commercial driver's license and lineman training programs.
TGIF, the weekend is here, and folks, it was a beautiful start to the weekend as we had temperatures in the 60s and 70s with plenty of sunshine. Here's the latest with live pinpoint Doppler radar showing a clean sweep across all of eastern Kentucky, and this is going to take a nice little break as we go throughout the next several days. And again, not a cloud in the sky in Pulaski County, plenty of sunshine, and that's going to make for a beautiful sunset across the area. And temperatures right now in the 60s across 99.9% of the viewing area. The lone exception, Grundy, checking in with 56 degrees. So beautiful evening if you're going to go out for dinner or go watch your local high school team play some Friday night football. Some great games going on this evening. We'll have the latest tonight at 11 on that. But 54 by the 9 o'clock hour, 51 by 11 o'clock, and then low to mid 40s as we go throughout the overnight hours and into the first part of the morning. When you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 30s and 40s will greet you, but there's a rain chance somewhere in the forecast, and we'll break that down coming up in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thanks. Kentucky State Police are investigating a serious crash in Laurel County. Troopers say it happened at Kentucky 192 and Saddlebrook Road this morning. That's about all the information we have right now, but we understand that road is back open. A Wayne County man is in jail following a narcotics investigation. That investigation originally began in August. When police stopped Randall Hall II, they told him the reasoning for doing so. They later reportedly found a crystal substance believed to be meth in his pants pockets during the traffic stop. A warrant was later obtained for him, leading to his arrest. He was taken to the Wayne County Detention Center. A Corbin man is facing charges after he was reportedly found trafficking drugs. Officers with the London Police Department pulled over 57-year-old Stacy Farley after he violated several traffic violations. When they pulled Farley over, police found a large quantity of suspected meth in his possession. He was charged with trafficking in a controlled substance and was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. It's been more than a year since sports betting became legal here in Kentucky, but that new form of gambling has turned into a struggle for some. Michael Stone says the uptick began last year in October, right after sports betting went into effect in the Commonwealth. But he says it's important to note that the amount of people suffering from gambling-related issues has not increased. Rather, more people are becoming aware of problems that can come along with it.
They have become aware because of the explosion of advertising for the online sports gambling, the FanDuels, the DraftKings, and all the other online sports betting applications that now all carry the note of gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Stone says the council does not have any definitive evidence to show the legalization of sports betting is creating more problems with addicted gamblers. Construction on one Kentucky highway is impacting several local businesses. WYMT's RJ Johnson has that story from London.
For several months, construction has been underway on Highway 192 in London.
And that's such a heavy traveled area that it isn't impacting, because you got to think we have two of the large chain grocery stores down on that end, and then a lot of restaurants down there. So people tend to migrate on that side of town. So it makes it kind of bad when there is that construction in there.
For Rhonda Cornett, owner of Cornett Farm Fresh, she says sales have drastically decreased due to folks not being able to turn left in and out of the parking lot.
But it's definitely left people really confused about how to get into our business. It's kind of dangerous right now getting in and out because people are not used to doing U-turns. You know, my overhead doesn't change. My employees are still here. They're still working. So it's made it really, really difficult.
She says several of her customers have decided to avoid the area completely.
Where it starts at Highway 25 and goes all the way to the interstate, it's a very time-consuming path to take to get anywhere on this highway right now. It could take you quite a bit of time.
London Mayor Randall Weddle took to Facebook to share the importance of supporting local businesses through this time.
While there is road construction, let's continue to show up for these people.
Saying while construction continues, he is urging folks to be patient.
There's growing pains sometimes, they say. So this is one of them things where we're just going to have patience. But when this project gets done, it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to make it easier on the business owners that live there or operate along the 192 sector.
Cornett says she is not opposed to the expansion of the road. She just hopes it is completed in the near future. In London, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Cornett says Mayor Randall Weddle's Facebook post has started the conversation and brought more attention to local businesses. Several organizations in southern Kentucky say they are working to address homelessness. They say a fire at a homeless camp in Somerset signals a need for action. The fire broke out at a suspected encampment just off US 27 North in Somerset. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to folks trying to help out in these situations.
Got socks.
Kelly Wood joined others Friday morning just off of US 27 in North Somerset.
There was a fire here last night. A lot of people were dislocated.
Wood says addiction is behind many of the homeless problems, and it hits home for her.
And I lost my daughter in 21 to an addiction to a heroin overdose.
She and others had food and other items ready to hand out to anyone in need.
They've got Kleenex, they've got tracts they can read about Jesus when they ain't got nothing to do, and got some shampoo and conditioner and things.
Somerset's fire chief tells me that there was no one around when they showed up to put out this fire. They do suspect that someone simply set clothing on fire in an attempt to stay warm. Jessica Lee Luster with Help the Homeless says that's happened before.
A lot of times that they don't know about community resources, so they're doing things like staying outdoors and lighting fires, and it's a danger to the community, and it's a terrible way for them to have to experience life.
And it's complicated given how the Safer Kentucky Act makes street camping illegal.
I do believe law enforcement locally has been paying attention to people, camping in public areas.
But they gotta want it. They gotta want it, whether it's to get out of jail and get it, or whether it's to get their kids back.
Everyone working together to help the situation, one person at a time. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Somerset's Help the Homeless has several events to address the homeless issue, and you can find out more by going to WYMT.com and clicking on this story. Governor Andy Beshear has ordered flags at all state buildings to be lowered to half staff from sunrise to sunset on Monday. The occasion is for a Whitley County soldier who served in the Korean War. Raymond Hall of Mountain Ash was killed in a battle with North Korean People's Army forces in July 1950. A graveside service and interment will take place on Monday at the Calverton National Cemetery in Calverton, New York.
Weather headlines for tonight. Welcome to a beautiful weekend. Lots of sunshine is in the forecast, but we're going to keep an eye on our next rain chance. We'll first alert that coming up in just a few minutes.
And family and friends, remember a former official with Appalachian Regional Health Care.